Welcome guys to the settings video. These are what I believe to be the best settings for anyone new or even experienced at the game. So let's start, shall we? First up, gameplay tab, interact pump style. I keep it on compact because it looks way cleaner than default. If you're new to the game, you might keep it on default so you know what each item does. Once you get over that, put it on compact. Next, button hints. As you can see on the bottom of the screen, it shows what each button does, but once you know what each button does, you can just put it off. Doesn't really matter, to be honest. Crosshair damage feedback, I keep it off. Shoot, there's no hit markers. If you have it on, you get hit markers, and then if you shot at it, it would show the shield broken icon. Damage numbers, don't have it off because then you don't know how much damage you're doing. I would recommend stacking, as it shows you how much damage you have done in total. Floating, you're going to see how much each bullet does. In both, you don't really need both, but I like it. Ping opacity, any obituaries, any minimap, keep that off, otherwise you get confused. Weapon auto recycle on empty, make sure to have this off, otherwise when you run out of bullets it will just swap to your other gun, and you don't want that, as you can see. So when you run out of ammo, it will prompt you to click triangle rather than doing it automatically when you try to shoot the button. You don't want that because that can get you killed, because you might already click triangle and it'll just swap back into your empty gun. Auto sprint, I have off. Double tap sprint off. Jet button control, default toggle. Incoming damage, this is personal preference. I like 3D. Both is a bit too messy, but either 3D or 2D is fine. Oh, this is important. Keep this off, otherwise you won't be able to loot boxes and armor swap. And if you can't armor swap while getting shot at, that might get you killed. Hop up, pop up, no choice. Stream mode, doesn't matter. I keep this on so I can see if I'm lagging on the top right. Club invites, doesn't matter. Colorblind mode, I don't have it on default, as you can see, and the red dot sight is red. But when you change this into this colorblind mode, it'll be yellow. Your aim will get a lot better by doing this. I don't know why, it just does. Probably because you can just see the enemy clearer. You can focus more on the enemy rather than your red dot sight color. Subtitles on or off, doesn't matter. Okay, the important part, button layout. I would suggest not playing on default. You would need to be able to aim and crouch effectively to be good at this game. So this is a good button layout because you can crouch with the right stick. This is another good button layout because it'll let you jump and crouch without taking your thumb off the right stick, which is important when you want to crouch or jump in the middle of a fight. This is what I used to use. This is a really good button layout because you can jump and crouch really effectively. It's like Evolve, where you can jump and crouch while aiming. And then yeah, you can have any button layout, just as long as you could jump and crouch while shooting. This is mine. You can make it, just make sure you can crouch and jump without letting go of the right stick, and you should be fine. Stick layout, default, you don't want to change that. You want to keep this on tap to use and reload. Crouch button, personal preference. If you had the button layout ninja, then I'd say keep on hold. If you have it on evolved, then keep it on toggle. I have it on hold, so it's just more comfortable for me because I crouch with L2. Aim button, keep it on hold. Survival slot, I keep it on because I don't really inspect my gun. This, you'd want it on none menu cursor speed, just make it higher than the default. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to the right. That's what I'm comfortable with. Now for sensitivity. Look sensitivity, in my opinion, this is the best sensitivity you can go for. 4:4. It's not too high, it's not too slow. It's high enough so you can react to people, but it's not too high so that you can't track bad guys. So this is the best sensitivity, I would say. Response curve, classic or linear. Don't go with any of these three in the middle. Classic or linear. I would suggest learning linear, as this helps with your recoil control a lot. You can pull down quite easily and it'll make your gun a laser. Look dead zone, keep it small. Any higher you can't make small adjustments like this. You can't make tiny ones like that. With the large one you can't do that. It's more sticky. None, you get stick drift. I'm not touching my right stick and this is a problem. It'll mess up your aim. Not good. If you don't like linear, stick with classic. It'll help you make small adjustments at range. It just doesn't feel as fluid as linear. It's a lot smoother with linear. You can hit fire easier. It's just better once you get to know it. Once I made the switch, it took me like a week to get used to, but just play every day for like half an hour. Should be fine. Movement dead zone, keep it small. Inverted look, I keep it off, I don't like that. It reverses your input. So when I pull down, it goes up. When I pull up, when I push up, it'll go down. Don't like that. Keep it off. Keep vibration off. Otherwise, when you shoot, it'll mess up your aim. Just a lot easier to aim when you don't have something vibrating in your hand. Advanced look controls, I use them personally. I did this so that I can reduce my dead zone to the point where I get no stick drift, because you want it low as possible, but you don't want it too low, because if I kept on 0, it goes by itself. But go up until I get an on. And for me, on my controller, it's 6%. Outer threshold, keep that as low as possible, don't touch it. Response curve, I made it so that it acts like linear. As you can see on the right, the graph is a linear graph. Whatever input I put in, I get the exact same output I see on screen. Classic is this bar here. This is what the classic curve looks like. It's an exponential graph, so little adjustments give little outputs. And to get the higher outputs, you'd have to push the stick a lot more. It's really good for fine adjustments, but it's not as smooth as linear. I suggest not going past this, because then you'll have to move your stick a lot in order to have a high movement in your camera, which doesn't feel good. So anywhere between here and classic is fine. If you don't want to take the time to learn this, then just don't use advanced look controls. My yaw speed, I have it on 323, pitch speed 323. This is basically 4:4 sensitivity. Turning extra yaw, all these I kept on 0 because it'll just mess up your aim. I don't really need to make it faster. I'm just used to these numbers. Increasing these would basically multiply these to a higher amount. Just don't mess with these, I'd suggest, unless you know what you're doing. ADS yaw speed, I made this the same to try replicate 4:4 sensitivity with linear, and these, keep these on, otherwise your aim will just go all over the place. You'd want to keep target compensation on, basically aim assist, will make it easier to aim. With it off, doesn't do anything. It'll be harder to track. Video field of view, the default is 70, but I'm quite close to my monitor, so this doesn't feel nice, and you can't see that much around you. I'd say anywhere between, if you're playing on a larger TV, you don't have to put it too high, but if you're quite close to your screen, I'd say between 90 see. And the max, which is 110. But for me, this is too much. The people, the bad guys I see far away, they're just too small. With 90, I can actually see what I'm shooting at. Sprint view shake is usually suggested to keep this on minimal, so that when you move, your screen's not shaking all over the place. But I like it on normal. It just feels nicer. But I'd probably recommend keeping it off, keeping it minimal. And audio, I just keep it 100, 100, 100. Music volume, I usually listen to my own music, so I turn it off. But the music in this game is pretty good, so. And then, yeah, off. And yeah, that's the settings. Setting video. Very nice.